I recently came across this video of a queen discussing just how much them folks who never took our struggles serious and turned a blind eye to our issues, just how much they want us to come out of our homes to help them and why. Now, what she said was nothing but truth if you're thinking straight. Take a listen.
Never in a million years did the powers that be think that they was going to have to be letting out or threatening to let out the Derek man to incite black people to get involved, to prick our emotions, to get us out in the street. They thought we was already going to be out in the street, black people. And this is only showing, and this is only proof that what we're doing is working, and that they are so desperate for our energy and our power, and they want us in this fight because they want to feed off of us. And for the first time, we've recognized it, and we like, oh no, we're not playing y'all game. We're not playing y'all game. Y'all gonna have to save yourselves. It don't matter. It don't matter what you do. We see through it. And I'm just so proud of us, black people. I'm so proud of us for recognizing, what is actually happening and what's going on. And what's so funny? For us to be DEI and be unimportant and irrelevant, why they keep messing with us? Like, why they not letting us be? We just said we resting, we minding our business, doing our own thing, having our own conversations, building our own communities, having our own communities. And, they just trying to poke and prod. But why are you doing that to the people who ain't supposed to matter? So, they telling on themselves, people. But we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, what we said we were going to do from November 6th, standing on business. And that's what we're doing. We're standing on business.
But did she lie, though? Did she lie? I didn't detect not one. Now, for those who can't remember, Derek Chauvin was found guilty on multiple charges of unaliving George Floyd by placing his knee over his neck for an extended period of time. Now, he's currently serving concurrent sentences of 20 years for state and federal charges. Now, despite medical records and examinations stating that Floyd died from asphyxiation, there's a number of them folks who still say he died from a drug overdose. The delusion. Now, based on the people who choose to believe this made up foolishness, them folks are now trying to grow a movement, which was actually started by Ben Shapiro, to have Trump pardon Derek. Even Elon Musk got in on this one. Now, again, he's been charged federally and by the state of Missouri. With this being said, if he gets out of the federal charges or pardoned from them, he would still have to serve the state time. Well, unless they have a finesse. Now, I do hear a few outlets discussing it or trying to push this agenda, but I don't hear it much from the black grassroots. Now, black people, I'm sure they want Chauvin to be released on these bogus claims that I made up. But they also want our people in these streets very, very, very bad. They know to mess with our emotions because we are emotional people. And this is just bait to play with your emotions or just get you mad so that you will then go out in these streets with them because you're mad that they released Derek. And it's easy to get angry about what happened to George Floyd. And he's been one of our soft spots since this incident happened. But this is cap. Don't worry about them releasing Derek. As sad as it is to say, he wouldn't be the first person they let go free or who's gotten away with doing terrible things to our black freedmen. Trayvon Martin, Emmett Till, anyone? I would run out of room if I named everybody. Also, I read somewhere that they were thinking about taking down the statues that they have of him in different places. Let them take it down. Let them take it down. It didn't do anything or produce justice for us anyway when it comes to black people. Now, I never said don't remember him or to be disrespectful towards George Floyd, but these people who we vote for 90% of the time did not pass anything that produced tangible results for us. Not even the George Floyd bill that they had. They played around with that. None of these people did anything for black freedmen in regards to reparations, a hate crime bill, or anything that will produce tangible policy or resources. Hell, I'm insulted they didn't pass the George Floyd Act, but was able to pass something tangible for the Asians. Make it make sense. Now these people are out here losing their minds Oh, and their jobs and their benefits, and they can't have their way. And they're all over the place. They can't handle suffering. They're used to it being us. Well, that's on them. When we tried to tell them folks, all of them in both parties, them folks, women and men, how we felt and how we felt they were treating us for decades, they turned a blind eye and labeled us as lazy or complainers. And God forbid we bring up anything about our race issues. These folks have taken us for granted for just too long, man. Just too long. And they didn't appreciate the people, us freedmen, who they need so much. And it's killing them to admit they need us, even though it's obvious. Now, even the women, I want to zero in on them folks, women, for a minute. Especially the ones who act so friendly. Now, they are the first to undermine us. Many people refuse to see it because, Black American Freedmen history, we should know. Did you know that there were many black business districts or black downtowns all across the U.S. at one point? These areas weren't just places to live. They were vibrant hubs of black entrepreneurship, culture, and resilience. Now, Chicago's black business district, known as Bronzeville, is not in many history books, but this area proved that all black American freedmen ever needed was each other. It was also the answer to black Americans experiencing Jim Crow in some of the Chicago area. Here is the backstory. Now, during the early 20th century, black Americans were cut off from whites due to segregation, and they began moving into the Bronzeville, Chicago area. Now, them folks would then label the area as Black Ghetto or Darky Town, but black Americans would rename their area Bronzeville to reflect their beautiful skin tone, and also redefining their name on their own terms and just taking control of the narrative. Now, Bronzeville was small, but at its peak had over 300,000 people within its 7-mile strip. Despite limited resources and systematic racism, black Americans built a flourishing black business district here where they could shop, dine, live, entertain, and more. Some of Bronzeville's many black-owned businesses included theaters, restaurants, nightclubs, hair salons, barbershops, grocery stores, banks, and the area even had one of the nation's first black-owned hospitals, Providence Hospital. Now, Providence Hospital was founded by Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, a black surgeon who performed the first open-heart surgery, making history within a system designed to exclude him. Bronzeville was also noted for having some of the country's best black entertainment of poetry, jazz, and more. Places like the black-owned Regal Theater hosted some of the country's most talented black entertainers, and the community was also home to many prominent black intellectuals at the time, like Mr. Louis Armstrong, civil rights activist Ida B. Wells, Langston Hughes, and more. Unfortunately, then, and much like now, black success was still seen as a threat. Now, urban renewal programs labeled as progress brought about destruction in many black towns and communities across the U.S., and Chicago's Bronzeville was no exception. The construction of the Dan Ryan Expressway would start the destruction of Bronzeville as it cut through the heart of the black community, destroying many businesses and homes. Then next, integration. While integration was said to offer new opportunities and options for black Americans, those options came at a price, and that price was a slow decline of one of the most thriving black business districts in America, as well as loss of millions in